before.
Okay.
Yes.
Was there any evidence that the state had it before that day?
I don't know, because I asked you, when did you know about it? And you refused to answer that question.
Sir, what did Ms. Fulton state under oath in that 7 hours, I think it was, deposition where you asked her extensively about all kinds of stuff?
Regarding the letter?
Yes, sir. What did she say about the letter, sir, under oath?
She said that witness 8 gave her the letter.
Okay.
And that
what did she say she did with the letter?
she said that she put it in a place where she had been keeping other correspondence or notes of condolence.
Right. And do you recall that, in fact, at that deposition, she brought the original letter in her Bible to that deposition? She sat there and showed you the original letter.
Yes.
And isn't it true that Sabrina Fulton's deposition was taken after witness number 8's first deposition was taken?
Yeah, the next day.
And isn't it true that witness number 8 did not mention anything about a letter in that first deposition?
No, I think that's incorrect.
Do you believe she stated that she had written a letter and that she still had it and that she gave it to the state?
I'm sorry, that's 3 or 4 questions again.
Okay,
Here's what she said.
The reason I asked you, sir, I apologize, I don't mean to argue with you, but Mr. Romero asked you compound questions. I will try to make them one sentence at a time so you can follow. Isn't it true, sir, that witness number 8 mentioned a letter and she stated that she had not given that letter to anybody other than Ms. Fulton?
Witness 8 testified the day before Ms. Fulton's deposition that she had, with the assistance of a friend, prepared a letter.
Did she say she gave it to Ms. Fulton is my question, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Did she say she had mentioned it to the state prior to mentioning it in a deposition?
She did not say that.
Okay. So when you were asked by Mr. Romero a big deal about this letter, isn't it true that, to your knowledge, the state was not aware of that letter other than when she mentioned it in a deposition? When witness number 8 mentioned the deposition?
I asked you about it, and you didn't answer, and I have no other information one way or another.
If you could, with all due respect, sir, answer my question. Any knowledge that you have that the state of Florida had knowledge of that letter prior to her deposition, the witness number 8 mentioned a deposition in front of all of us?
You never mentioned the letter. That's true.
So is your answer no, you did, there's no knowledge? Can you just answer yes or no, please?
I don't have any knowledge of you knowing about the letter.
Okay. Did the witness state that she had given the state that letter prior to the deposition where she was asked about it?
No, she didn't.
Okay. Did she say she had given that letter to Ms. Fulton?
She did.
Okay. And when Ms. Fulton came in, did she bring the letter in to the deposition?
Yes.
And did Ms. Fulton not state that she felt that was a personal letter to her, and she in fact had not told anybody about it other than in terms of the deposition when she brought it in?
Object, Your Honor. That question was asked and answered precisely in the same way.
Isn't it true, sir?
I'm sorry, I didn't follow the question.
Madam Court Reporter, would you mind repeating the question, please?
And did Ms. Fulton not state that she felt that it was a personal letter to her, and she had in fact and not told anybody about it in terms of the deposition when she brought it in?
Ms. Fulton testified that she did not share the letter with anyone.
Okay. So the allegation that you and I respectfully say the defense counsel has been prejudiced in some way because the state did not disclose this letter, isn't it true that that's a false statement in terms of an allegation the state did something improper?
I don't remember that allegation, I'm sorry.
So why did we spend 5 minutes being asked about that allegation if it's irrelevant to this motion before the court?
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're asking me. Are you saying, why did Mr. O'Mara ask me
Yeah,
questions?
and why did you interrupt him and say, Mr. O'Mara, I'm an attorney, that's irrelevant to this thing, why do we need to bring that up to the court?
Sorry, if you thought it was irrelevant, I assume you would have made the objection.
Why did we bring it up in front of the court? What's the relevance of that?
We object at this point, argumentative.
Don't you agree that that's irrelevant to your motion?
You sustained my objection, did you not?
I think he's trying to ask a new question. Wait till after the question.
Yes, Your Honor.
Don't you agree that that's irrelevant to the motion?
Your Honor, same objection.
The court will make its own finding. Thank you.
Now, there's been a lot of things brought out, so let me start at the very beginning, if we could, of Mr. O'Mara's questioning of you. Isn't it true that the defense believed, based on the conservative treehouse and other areas out there, other Twitter, other stuff, that there was this girl, and she was really 16 years old, and you all, or these groups, thought that they had identified who witness number 8 was? Do you recall that?
I recall there being internet activity about who this witness was. I know that there had been public statements made by people who claimed to know her age, that she was 16.
And
I knew that.
Yes, sir. And you recall, in fact, Mr. O'Mara, now this, quite frankly, may have been prior to you getting the case, in open court saying, oh, we know who this witness is, and there's information about her out there. Do you recall Mr. O'Mara making those statements about witness number 8?
I don't for sure. I don't know if he did or not.
But you do recall that apparently these conservative treehouse and other groups had actually, pardon my language, I don't know what the word is, doxed or whatever, actually singled out a lady, a girl, quite frankly, who turned out not to be witness number 8.
Could I speak to that?
Could you answer my question, sir? Do you recall that being out there?
I remember there being internet activity where bloggers thought they knew who this person was, yes.
And do you recall, in fact, and I commend you, Mr. O'Mara, and you, do you recall that you, in fact, in the GZ Legal, issued a bulletin, I guess you would call it, stating that this witness was doxed or identified, and that people need to stop doing that?
Well, I was around for that. That wasn't all that long ago, actually.
Do you recall that being done?
That's it.
I remember
That, keep in mind, I don't have any direct participation in posting.
Who does that?
In the sense that I don't know how to do that.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
do you read that after the fact, or do you approve it, or is it just done without you and Mr. O'Mara's approval? Do people just post that? When I'm talking about GZ Legal, is that done with your all's approval? Do you look at each one of those postings to make sure it's accurate?
Well, I think generally that's the practice, sure.
Okay.
As to the doxing comment, I think you're referring to concern about people being essentially harassed
Yes, sir.
by virtue of people, frankly, unrelated to us, trying to identify people or trying to release information that might be considered private.
When you state unrelated to you, are you stating to this court that you have not adapted or incorporated any of the arguments made by the conservative treehouse and President?
Okay, so what you're saying is, man, Ryan, you said attorneys love to get to question other attorneys. That's what's happening here. And it gets heated at moments. Right now, it kind of seems to be, I don't know, kind of buried in minutia. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
So we're going to take a break. But it is a very important hearing regarding George Zimmerman.